Welcome to Walk in the Park. My name is Tony Ingram, and today, let's see where we are here. This is episode 97th, January 28th, 2015. If you want to see all of my shows, walkinpark.com. Go to my vid blog, as I call it, and you can see all of my shows. Walk in the Park. Well, today we're going to go a number of places. I'm going to start off and take a look at what it's like outside. Let's see, get away from there. Okay. Aha. Teganic Falls. Oh my gosh. Well, this actually wasn't taken this year, but it could have been taken today. It's very much iced up. It's been very cold. We all know this, but not everybody gets out to see all this sort of thing. So Teganic Falls becomes this big ice fall with the water trying to get through it. And there's a big dome of ice below it. But we're going to go farther afield. For a while anyway, and then we'll come back to the local parks. But I thought we'd go around the state a little bit. Let's go up to the Adirondacks. Aha. So this is right in the middle of Adirondack Park. This is a view. This was, let me see, I've got notes here somewhere. This was, on the 24th. Today's the 28th, so that's just 4 days ago, just last weekend. Sunday, I guess. Awesome view from Snowy Mountain this afternoon. From a guy named Rob Richards said. These are things I get off the internet. And Snowy Mountain is really quite a nice mountain. It overlooks a number of lakes. It has a fire tower on top, which I think you can actually still go up. It's been refurbished. But it rises more than 2,000 feet from its base, which is, considering it's less than 4,000 feet, it's about 3,900 feet up. It's one of the highest mountains in the central or southern Adirondacks. And just to give you a feel for how steep it is, we'll go down to Indian Lake. This is a few years ago. My wife and I stayed a few days along Indian Lake, and we went out on the lake in a canoe. And that peak over to the right that's just poking up to the clouds there, that is Snowy Mountain. It's quite a steep climb. Not the highest climb in the Adirondacks, but one of the steeper ones, and from base to summit, one of the more challenging mountains. I have not been up that one. I've been up many Adirondack peaks, but not that one. Of course, that was a summer picture, and we were looking at the winter shot last weekend. But now we're going to pop over west of Lake Placid in Saranac Lake area to St. Regis Mountain. And this was, so you get the story on this. Oh yeah, this is a Adirondack Mountain Club picture. View from St. Regis Mountain yesterday. That would have been January 20th, I think they're talking about here. St. Regis is a fairly low peak at 2,874 feet. Let me see what I got here. But it's tied for the 213th highest peak in the Adirondacks. The 2.5-mile route to the summit is climbed by a fair amount of people, and in the summer, the peak of the tourist season, there can be more than 30 people on the summit at a time. The summit is very spread out, though, so no crowding. This is not a place for solitude, except possibly in the cold parts of the winter, like now. However, due to the fact that the summit is sheer rock and is barren except for a fire tower, the views from the summit are fantastico, and many people consider the view one of the best in the Adirondacks. The panoramic view is composed of at least 30 lakes, including both the Saranac Lakes and both St. Regis Lakes. I don't know which lakes those are right there. I actually have not been up this one either. It's on my list. The trail up to the summit is well trodden and manageable. It gets steep in some places. Okay. Now let's go down to, actually this is St. Regis Pond down here. Obviously an autumn picture looking up to St. Regis Mountain. And here's the fire tower on St. Regis Mountain. And both of these last two pictures were taken by a guy named M. Wanner. I don't know if it's a guy actually, M. Wanner. That's the credit off of Wikimedia. St. Regis Mountain. So a lot of people still climbing the Adirondacks now. See where we're going to go next year. Yeah, not as many as the summer, not as many as the fall, but there are some intrepid folks out there that are going out and seeing what it's like in this incredibly rugged landscape in the coldest part of the state, in the deepest snows. So let's take a look at the Adirondack Park. You can see where it's located. Most of us know this. It's up in the North Country, as they say, and it's actually in the contiguous United States, that's the 48. It is the largest park including all the national parks and state parks. It is the largest park by quite a bit. And in the green area, this is High Peaks Wilderness. This is a designated area that is have the highest mountains in the state. And there's about, well, they say 46 mountains that are over 4,000 feet, though some of them, they found out about 4 of them are just under. So, but anyway, you can join the Adirondack 46er Club by climbing them all. And of course, you can do it in winter too. Oh boy! Now this is a group of people. They seem to go hiking in these amazing places every weekend, and they're halfway between the Catskills and the Adirondack, so they go both places. And it's posted on actually online by a woman that calls herself, I don't know what her real name is, calls herself Hiking Chick. She's a young woman and her family and friends, and you go out and have a vicarious story with them. So if you're on Facebook, search for Hiking Chick. It's really kind of cool. So this is, they went up on the most difficult trail in the state called the Range Trail, or the Great Range Trail. And they're climbing Lower Wolf Jaw, Upper Wolf Jaw, Armstrong, and Gothics Mountains. Here's a summer picture. And this summer picture was taken by, the same guy, same person, M. Warner. But this is taken from a mountain called Big Slide, and there's Johns Brook Valley in the middle. It's all wilderness there, no roads or anything. Amazing place. But the mountain on the left is Lower Wolf Jaw, the one in the middle, not the one in the far back. I think that might be Dick's Mountain. This is Upper Wolf Jaw, and then just to the right of that is Armstrong Mountain. And then that really rugged one on the far right, upper right is Gothics Mountain. And I'll show you a picture of that in a minute. But one of my favorite mountains, although I haven't been up it since I was young. So here they are snowshoeing. This might be going up, I don't know which one. There's one of the Wolf Jaws or something, maybe Armstrong. And maybe even Gothics, and up in these summits, just amazing. Fantastic views back. This is across the Keene Valley, so I don't know, maybe 10 miles away. That's called Giant Mountain, also one of my favorite mountains. And look at all the slides on Giant Mountain, faces west, and they're looking east, and it's 4,600 and something feet. And that is geologically, that is a glacial cirque during the Ice Age. In that bowl, a bit below all those slides, or actually even up into those slides, there was a glacier, a mountain glacier at the end of the Ice Age, and that of course melted away, but it did carve out that bowl at the head of the glacier, and dramatic landscape. To the right of that is a mountain called Rocky Peak Ridge. So let's get back on their hike over the Great Range Trail, one of the most challenging trails, probably is the most challenging trail in the state, and it's a lot of fun if you can do it. And I can't pick out which is which here. Probably Armstrong, and in the middle, that one with the slides on it is probably Gothics Mountain. That's what I think we're looking at here. And if anybody's been up there, I'm sure they appreciate it. And then straight off, this view to the west is, well, just to the left out of the picture probably is Mount Marcy, the highest mountain in the state. But right in the middle, that snow-capped thing, that is Algonquin Peak. And that whole range it's on is called Mount McIntyre, with Wright Peak on the right, Algonquin in the middle, and Iroquois Peak on the left. And then on the far left is, I think that's probably Mount Colden. And that's a 5,114 feet or something like that, second highest peak in the state. One of my favorite mountains in the world. So here's another view from of Gothics Mountain, also in the winter, from the south, so on the other side of the mountain. They didn't actually get this view. And then here's a summer shot looking into Gothics Mountain, which they went up on the big slide on the north side of Gothics Mountain, and that's amazing. That's also probably taken from Big Slide Mountain on the other side, the Johns Brook Valley. So these are amazing places, and if you get a chance to get up there, well, you got to be in good shape to do that, but they're amazing places. So let's see, where are we going to go next? Let's go over to New England a little bit, up to the White Mountains. This is called Mount Moosilauke. Let's see what I can tell you about that. 4,802 foot high mountain at the southwestern end of the White Mountains in New Hampshire. And it's the 10th highest and most southwestern of the 4,000 foot summits in the White Mountains. So this is in White Mountain National Forest. That's the park it's in. And Moosilauke is ranked 9th on the New England 50 Finest Peaks, a list of summits with the highest topographic prominence. The Appalachian Trail passes over the mountain. Its name is thought to be derived from a contraction of the Native American words musi, meaning bald, and aki, meaning place. So says Wikipedia. So here they are. These folks were up on the top of this mountain. This was probably just recently. Mount Musalaki, you can see the trees. It's almost at tree line. The trees are all very short because of the fierce weather up there and the winds and the ice and what have you. And notice those things that look like trees right in the center. They're not. They look to me like rock cairns. You have to follow those in the fog to find your way along the trail. A lot of these summits in the northeast that are bald or nearly bald, you have to follow rock cairns to make your way in bad weather. So let's see. Let's go to Boston National Historical Park. Okay, this is also put up recently. They say, ever wonder how long it took to travel in colonial times? Well, on January 27th of 1776, so this was put up yesterday probably, Henry Knox finally completed a 300-mile journey while transporting 59 cannons on ox-drawn sleds from Fort Ticonderoga, New York, to Cambridge, Mass. Today, this journey would take only 7 hours, but in 1776, it took almost 3 whole months. Well, you can imagine dragging cannons. These cannons were later used to force the British troops out of Boston, freeing the town and giving General George Washington his first victory. Pretty cool. So Boston National Historical Park. That's actually a very cool park. It's the whole Boston Harbor there. They've got islands. It's amazing. And they work closely with the state parks and other entities to create a whole story for us to appreciate an amazing land and seascape. So, okay, so we're going to go closer to home here now. Let's see. Let's go to Watkins Glen State Park. Oh, my gosh. Well, the gorge is closed. You can see why. You don't want to go down in there. Very cold and icy. Big, huge ice formations cover the trail, and you'll slip and fall into the icy water, or an icicle will fall on you, or a rock will fall on you because it froze and split and then thawed and fell, or what have you. So, like most of the other state park gorges around here, it is closed. Teganic is the only one that generally stays open in the winter because it's wide, although it has occasionally been closed. But we're going to take a look at, let's see what we got here. This is well, let's look at this brochure cover of Watkins Glen. Look at that. That was from the 1880s, 1886, I think. This was I don't know, it was a booklet. It might have been the guidebook, or it might have been a brochure for Watkins Glen. So it was a tourist resort. It started out as a tourist resort, a privately owned resort open to the public. You pay, I don't know, 50 cents to get in there or something, and you could walk in it. They also had a hotel and what have you. The hotel is actually in this picture. On the upper right there, you can see a building, and the bridge across the gorge is still there. The iron bridge built, I think, about 1872, right over the gorge. And then there was what they call a Swiss chalet on the left side, where they had a kitchen and snack bar and souvenirs and what have you. So, but in the wintertime, you can see there's somebody in there. There's a guy in there. Watkins Glen, of course, was as cold and icy then as it is now. And so they have some amazing pictures. Now you can see the top of this picture is a little curved. That's because it's from a stereograph. There was a big business of making photographs, taking photographs with a stereo camera, 2 cameras. Take the same shot so that you could put them in a viewer and get a 3-dimensional view. I don't know why we don't still do that. Tried to do that on video and TV, but it hasn't really taken off. It's too high tech. Here's Cavern Cascade in Cavern Gorge, which now you can walk behind and up through a tunnel, which didn't exist, I think, when this picture was taken probably in the late 1800s, maybe early 1900s. But look at all the ice in there. There's a waterfall pouring through it, but everything's iced up. And it's probably something like that now. Now, here's a picture I put side by side, the one we just saw, and then another old picture, probably from before 1935, where there is a fence that goes behind the falls, and you see up on the right there's a stairway, and that actually goes through the spiral tunnel, which was built about 1908, and is still there, and you can go up above the waterfall through the cliff. But anyway, look at the difference between a summer picture of old and a winter picture of old. Pretty cool, huh? And this is a more modern picture showing it obviously in the fall. It doesn't have all that ice on it, so it's amazing. So here's a pass, a complimentary pass to get into the Watkins Glen. It wasn't a park then, it was a resort, a scenic resort. Let's see, this one was given to J.B. Briggs and his wife by a Michener who owned the hotel and the property, and they had until November 1st, 1883 to use this pass into the place. Non-transferable. You couldn't give it to somebody else. So I have some interesting relics from that era. But now we're going to go, well, not to the present because it's winter, but we're going to go to the summertime and just look at a 1-minute video about just a little portion of Watkins Glen Gorge in the state park. And this is one of my Park Minute series, my other show that I do. And just a minute. So we'll take a look at that, an area called Century Bridge in the summer. After passing through Entrance Tunnel, you emerge on Century Bridge, right above the first waterfall in the gorge, Entrance Cascade. From Century Bridge, you can see back into the main entrance. The far end of Century Bridge provides your first glimpse into the spectacular interior of Watkins Glen. So if you want to see my park minutes, you can go to walkinpark.com just if you want to see the rest of my Walk in the Park shows. Now we'll go even closer to home for us folks that live in Tompkins County area. We'll go to Robert H. Treman State Park. Ooh, that's not a winter picture. Not going to do winter in this, I don't think, but I've just been going through my photographs. Going to be doing a show about Treman in another month or less. But this is one of the famous scenes that people like to photograph in Robert Treman State Park. It's, well, I like to call it the joint slot, and that's sort of the geological, technical description of it. But they had other names for it in the old days. Here's an older picture of it. Now notice that there's a bridge. If you look right in the center, lower center of the picture, there's a little bridge crossing this section of the gorge. Now we'll compare it again. There's a stone bridge that was built back in, I guess, in the 30s or maybe late 20s. Actually, I think it might have been built late 20s, early 30s. And but this is back before the park. This was probably in the 1800s because there was a tourist hotel in what's now the Upper Park. There was a hamlet of Enfield Falls, and there was a tourist hotel there. And this is one is from a stereograph, and it said on the back, "The Gateway of Rocks, entrance to Enfield Ravine," or Enfield Glen, which is the gorge that's in Robert Treman State Park, long before Robert Treman bought the property. So let's take another look at another bridge here. I'm not sure if this is the same one or not. Let's see, let's compare them. It might be the same one. In my closer view, I think it is, of that same wooden bridge. So there are a number of different bridges there, I think. And then here's another. Now, if you go to the other side of the bridge and you look back up, this is another stereograph. It says Ithaca and neighborhood in the stereograph picture. And there's that wooden bridge again. So long time ago, things have changed. So let's go look at it now in, well, we're going to go down into, past that area to Lucifer Falls, originally called Enfield Falls. I don't know what the what the Cayuga people called it, but anyway. So we're used to going by the falls here. It's the trail goes right down by the falls. Amazing, because you can get so close to this amazing waterfall. But people did that more than 100 years ago. They did it in the 1800s. If you look just to the right of the upper section of the falls there, you can see there's kind of a wooden staircase going down that probably didn't last too long with the rigors of a gorge. Here's from down below the falls, again long ago. Here's another label. I think it's for this last picture. Lucifer Fall, 230 feet high. Well, that's way off. That's actually twice as high as the waterfall is. It's actually 115 feet high, 100 feet shorter than Teganic Falls, but certainly nowhere as tall as this person thought it was. But they're from Metropolitan Hotel in New York City, so what do they know? So anyway, here's a stereograph. Looks like a stereograph postcard that someone sent, and I think it was about, I think it was maybe 1906 or so. Looking at my notes here. Yeah. So it says something on there. Enfield Ravine, Enfield Gorge, in Enfield Gorge, in between there, and it says, "Hello, Harvey. How is everything? I haven't heard a word." Something or other. Okay. How is somebody? I am going to call her. How is Laura? Maybe I'm going to call her up. I think it's 1906, but you can't see it on there. Give Celie Lawrence my best of wishes. Enfield Gorge. Looks like Lillian. Anyway, go look at those two comparisons. So this would have been put in somebody would have gotten this and stuck it into a stereograph viewer and got a three-dimensional postcard. Pretty cool. Why don't we do that now? I don't understand it. But so this is a view from below, and now a shot in a similar spot in modern times from the bottom portion of Lucifer Falls. And this is a spot they no longer want people to go into. I don't know if they ever did, but now there's signs up that says don't go in here, trail closed, da-da-da. And there's good reason for that, because you're at the bottom of a cliff and the trail is just to the right at the top of the cliff, and people throw things off of there. And also people go up and climb up the falls and get in trouble that way. So, okay, so that's pretty much what we're going to do locally. So we're now going to move around a little bit while we have a little bit of time left here to some other parks around. Another one in New York, the Grand Canyon of New York State. This is at Letchworth State Park recently, I believe. I'm not sure who took this picture. Let's see. This was, yeah, I don't know. This was from New York State Parks. This spot is called Inspiration Point. So it was an inspiring shot. So in any case, now we're going to go to Arizona. Now this is winter pictures. I'm going to show you winter pictures of Arizona, but these pictures are not snowy, although not that they don't have snow in Arizona in the mountains, but and at the Grand Canyon, but this is southeastern Arizona, Chiricahua National Monument. I think I ended my last show with this shot, but we'll have a couple of pictures here, a short video. Chiricahua National Monument. This is on January 7th. If you enjoy hitting the trails at Chiricahua, you may run into some of the unsung heroes of outdoor recreation. Trail crews from the National Park Service, Arizona Conservation Corps, American Conservation Experience, and more work to repair old and damaged trails or build new ones for unique visitor experiences in your national parks. Well, if you're out there hiking, or if you're working on the trails, out in that country particularly, you got to watch out for these guys. That's actually a pair of western diamondback rattlesnakes, I believe. They're certainly rattlesnakes. And you know, the funny thing is, in the summertime, or even in the spring, you go out there, you don't see the rattlesnakes so much in the day. They actually come out at night because it's a little too hot in the day, and they come out, and they'll come out on if you're in a campground, they like to go out on the pavement because the pavement's still warm, and they stay warm on the pavement. So this is actually a pair of rattlesnakes. I'm going to show you the video of this. Pretty low resolution here, apologize for that, but it's a frame grab from the video. Oops, let's see. Well, just stand by here and I'll show you these guys doing their thing. So what was going on there? Well, the people that were taking the video on their audio that went with it were saying, "Oh, this is a mating ritual going on," and then a biologist, a national park biologist, I guess, looked at it and said, "Oh no, those are two males fighting over mating territory. Perhaps there's a female in the area." But so that was a fight. Yeah, it was a fight there between two male rattlesnakes, according to what I read. So yeah, you got to watch your step out there in the campgrounds at night in the spring and the summer. I actually was down in Texas in a campground last year in April, and was walking back from the comfort station or the bathroom towards my campsite, and I was using a flashlight, fortunately, because there was a little rattlesnake right in my path. And turns out I was told that they're the most venomous kind. So, well, we still have a little bit of time left here, so let's go the opposite extreme to Alaska. Let me get that one up here. Notes about that. This is Mount McKinley. Mount McKinley. This is from the Department of Interior, which is the department includes the National Park Service. A fresh coat of snow blankets Denali National Park and Preserve in Alaska, creating this beautiful image of the park. Daniel A. Lifeheight took this photo of Mount McKinley, the tallest peak in North America, just after a snowstorm. So that's a pretty fierce place to be any time of year, and obviously now. And then we'll go down to, let's see, where are we going here? This, also from the Department of Interior, located in the Gulf of Mexico, this is January 23rd, on Florida's barrier island Sanibel. The J.N. Ding Darling National Wildlife Refuge is part of the largest undeveloped mangrove ecosystem in the United States. The refuge is world famous for its spectacular migratory bird populations, providing an important habitat to over 230 species of birds. The best months to visit for birding are December through March, during low tide when the birds are feeding on the exposed mudflats. Sunset photo by Al Hofacker. All right, that's at the Wildlife Refuge at Sanibel Island. So another place I've heard of and I have never been to. So that's about all we have time for today. So I'm going to have to bring it up here. So thanks a lot for joining me. Walk in the Park 97, walkinpark.com. So maybe we'll see you soon.